something right now. Oh, Stephen A., he loves Kobe Bryant. He barely says anything. Yes, I do love Kobe Bryant, but that's not why I barely said anything about him. You know why? Because here was his JC. Here's it, John. Let me say something wrong about Kobe. I'm going to have a problem. I'm going to have a problem. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to have a problem. Kobe will pick up the phone in a heartbeat. What the hell did you just say? I know I didn't just hear you say that. Isaiah Thomas, oh my God. I'm talking about the two-time NBA champion, the Hall of Famer that works on TNT and NBA TV. Oh my God. Don't let me utter a word about him. He's got my address. Shaq, same thing. Barkley, same thing. In terms of today's current players, I can't even count them. You don't hear me say that about Dave. Let me misquote D. Wade. Because he's getting ready to retire, so I can tell y'all this. Let me misquote him. Let me misrepresent his position. I'm going to have a problem. I say it affectionately. Because we're cool, even though I don't talk to him much, I don't bother him much. Oh, my God, don't let me say something about Chris Paul. I ain't going to lie to y'all. The secretary, who can get in the way of Chris Paul getting to me? Because, my God, you uttered the wrong word about him. Chris Paul going to check you. Make no mistake about it. So you got a license. Even though you have a license, it resonates exponentially more when you know that a person has spoken to you and they have given you insight. You don't just ignore it. You appreciate it. And you move accordingly. Not talking to somebody. You've empowered them. Kevin Durant never said, I don't talk to Ethan Strauss. He said, he don't speak to me. He hasn't spoken to anybody. And if you're a reporter that's called out like that, you have to respond. And I'm anxious to see what Ethan Strauss's response is going to be.
The Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Stephen A. Smith Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, and you can always get in touch with the show through the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed.
Yeah. See you at the bus stop waiting every day. Sometimes I think it's safe for you to travel that way. But I don't want to violate your relationship, so while they back in the cut with the crush, that's a trip. Still, he can't stop me from having daydreams, tonguing you down with vanilla ice cream. Valentine's is almost here. 1-800-Flowers has the best bouquets and deals around, like 18 red roses for $29.99, or upgrade to 24 red roses for only $10 more. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. Y'all can't play LL in front of me and think I don't know. I'm proud of my homeboy, by the way. I'm from Hollis, Queens, New York. He's literally from 5 minutes away, Farmers Boulevard, Queens, New York. And what he has done with his career from being an elite rap artist to an actor extraordinaire on television, I just can't say enough about him. And Spike TV's lip sync battle, I'm sorry, LL, I never had the courage to get in that kind of sharp on lip sync. I'm trying to figure out if I did it. Would I be Prince? Would I be, Bruno Mars or something? Would I be like my man Channing Tatum and pull off a Beyonce, who did a great, great job with that? That Spider-Man did. That Spider-Man dude did a phenomenal job when he showed up on Lip Sync Battle as well. LL does a phenomenal job, with that show, without question. I'm so proud of that brother. I really, really am. Anyway, let's get back to the phones at 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. By the way, before I get to the phones, Markelle Fultz being traded. I said it on the air today. I'll say it again. He might end up being the biggest bust, number one overall pick bust in NBA history if things don't change. Jury's still out. He's only 20 years of age. He's got a chance to resurrect himself, get himself on the right track. I think he's a really, really good kid. Ladies and gentlemen, there are things that have gone on with him on a personal level that's none of anybody's business that has derailed his basketball career. It's not about basketball. It's about life with him. And I pray for him every day and wish him nothing but the best. I really, really do. But if he doesn't turn this around based on what we saw him do in college, transitioning that to what we've seen since he's arrived in the NBA, it'll be a bigger bust than Anthony Bennett of the Cavs. It'll be a bigger bust than that. A bigger bust than that. It's that bad. But I'm rooting for you, Markel. I hope you get it turned around. Hope he shows up and shows out in Orlando, wherever else he ends up. I do think the Sixers did a good job getting Jonathan Simmons for him, though. I'll tell you that much. Let's go to Bethany. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Bethany? How are you?
Good. How are you, Stephen A?
I'm doing all
Love
right.
your show. Love your show.
Thank you so much.
I was wanted to call about what you just mentioned about the Fultz trade. I think I agree with you. I think, if things don't change, he can be a bust. And I think that it was good for him to get out. But my question is, for the Sixers, do you think now with the trades that they have with Harris, that if they don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, is it a disappointment of a season?
No. Well, let me say this. It's a disappointment, but it's not a bust. Because Milwaukee, Toronto, and Boston are formidable. Now, if they lost to anyone other than those three teams, that would be a problem.
Yeah.
But if they run into one of those three, which obviously is likely since they're expected to be the top four seeds in the Eastern Conference, Toronto, Milwaukee, Boston, and Philadelphia, if Philadelphia lost to one of those teams, we can understand it. If they lost to Toronto, who just acquired Marc Gasol, and add him to Kawhi Leonard and Siakam and Anunoby and Kyle Lowry and Danny Green and those boys, we can't sit up there and dismiss that. What if we're talking about the Milwaukee Bucks? They just added Mirotic with his stretch four abilities. The ability he shoots over about nearly 37% from three-point range. He's a 16-point per game scorer. You add him to Milwaukee and the outside, shooting prowess that people perceive them lacking. Suddenly, that's not a problem anymore. You go to Boston. They got three-point shooters. They got length. They got athleticism. They've got depth. They've got exceptional coaching and a superstar in Kyrie Irving. If you're the Philadelphia 76ers and you lose to any of those three, it's disappointing, but we can't sit here and say that, oh, my Lord, the season would be a total abject failure. The fact of the matter is any of those teams can beat Philadelphia, even as they're constructed.
True. And I just had a quick question for you about Ben Simmons. I love the game. I go to the games as much as I can. But when I'm sitting in row 107, which the arena, and he's coming down with the ball, and you just know that he's going to pass it. I'm like, as a
Who
fan,
is this?
I can see
Who is
that.
this?
Ben Simmons.
Yes, okay, go ahead.
When he's coming down, with the ball, just coming down, he's going to pass it. And as a fan, I can see how much more, the defense can plan for it. And I guess I'm just like, is it –
Well, Bethany,
is it –
Bethany, I'm very concerned. What are you trying to do? Take my job? That's astute basketball analysis on your part, Bethany. I mean, what the hell are you trying to do? Take my job? I mean, come on now. Let's pump the brakes a little bit, Bethany. I need my job. I don't want you I love you, but I don't want you taking my job. That's some astute basketball analysis there. But I will say this: Ben Simmons can take it to the hole and finish at the hole. The problem is that if they lay back off of him and dare him to shoot the perimeter shot, you are right, he will give it up. But that's why they added Tobias Harris with a Jimmy Butler and a Joel Embiid with a J.J. Redick expected to be in the lineup with all of them. Because you basically have three bona fide shooters, three guys who can shoot right. I only consider Redick a shooter, Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler are scorers, and Joel Embiid obviously can score from the inside or out 15 to 17 feet. He can do major damage with an occasional three-point shot. But I just look at it from the standpoint that Ben Simmons ultimately leads you in a situation where you're playing 4-on-5 basketball at some points if teams get back and force the Sixers to be a half-court team. What's sad about that is Ben Simmons is a jump shot away from being considered one of the top 5 players in the world. He's a jump shot away from being LeBron Part 2. At a 6'11 frame with those ball handling skills, those passing skills, that basketball IQ, it's a damn shame he hasn't worked on his jump shot because it's the only thing he's lacking.
Correct. Thank you so much, Stephen A.
Thank you, Bethany. I appreciate the call. We got to watch out for Bethany. John, be careful about letting her on. Again, this girl trying to take my job. Bethany was pretty damn good. She was better than most of y'all fellas. She was breaking down basketball better than most of y'all. I mean, come on, fellas. Come on now. Ain't no genderism here. We going to give props where it's due. I was very impressed by Bethany, I must say. I really must say. John, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Big fan, brother. Big fan.
Appreciate you. Go ahead.
Regarding the Lakers last night, LeBron really seemed to click controlling the ball and having shooters around him. How will this impact Lonzo Ball's position and role with the team moving forward when he returns?
I think that Magic and those boys are not going to be shy about putting Lonzo on the bench. If you got guys, even Kentavious Caldwell-Pope came off the bench yesterday and made shots. Obviously, Hart made a couple. Kuzma was balling. Brandon, I think the two biggest guys that may suffer playing time wise is Ingram to a lesser degree, and of course Lonzo. The thing that makes them both formidable, however, is they're both athletic defenders and have enough length on them to cause problem for opposing offenses. That's where you have to gauge whether it's best to utilize them or not. But I think both of them are liabilities from the perimeter when it really, really counts for the Lakers, which is why I think ideally seeing LeBron out there with a Hart, with a Kuzma, you got to keep Rondo out there because he's just a brilliant basketball savant at the point guard spot. I think those kind of things help along with getting somebody else who's capable of stretching the floor, you know, from the perimeter. So a guy like Muscala, if he can give you anything from the perimeter, even though he's a career 7-point-per-game scorer, I think that would help the Lakers as well.
The more important question, did LeVar Ball help motivate and fuel the team last night?
No. No.
So,
No. I think what fueled the team and motivated the team was the fact that the NBA trading deadline had expired and nobody was worried about having to leave California any longer. That's what motivated them.
But do you think what LeVar Ball is somewhat helpful to the team?
No, I think that LeVar Ball is going to end up getting his son traded. Because I think that when you call out the coach and when you say Magic's just a face, he ain't making no real decisions, it's Genie Bus and stuff like that, I think ultimately LeVar Ball's mouth is going to get Lonzo Ball up out of there. That's what I think is going to happen. And I like LeVar Ball. You know, he's talked smack about me from time to time. That's all in fun, man. I ain't even worried about something like that. I respect the hell out of LeVar Ball in terms of his marketing wizardry and what have you. But he did pull a son out of college. He did pull a son out of high school. He has engaged in hyperbole about what Lonzo Ball was going to be on the NBA level, and none of that has reached fruition as of yet. He even went so far as to say the Lakers would win championships if they had all three of his sons on the squad. Come on now, you got to earn that. You can't be getting jobs just because your father is a marketing whiz. That don't cut it. That don't cut it, and the Lakers ain't going to go for it. And evidently, neither is anybody else, because I don't see anybody else from the Ball family in the NBA. So we shall see. Appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. I'll be back with your calls to close out the show in a minute. Gentlemen, stop lounging around. Be active. Take your girl out. Go to a game or a concert. Get tickets to something. Plus, the NBA season is heating up, and the time is now to jump on those tickets. For all your ticket needs, look no further than Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. Go to vividseats.com and enter promo code ESPN to get 10% off your first order. Get out, go have an experience, fellas. Get to the game and use what I use. That's Vivid Seats. 888-SAY-ESPN. That is the number to call right here with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Whether it's monthly challenge to meet your goals, a training program for your next race, or setting a new personal best, the Peloton bike will make you want to show up and keep climbing a live leaderboard year-round. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom.
Need game tickets? Find your seats at Vivid Seats.
Against the Celtics last night, and believe it or not, it was someone other than LeBron James who hit the game-winning shot. In case you missed it, let's take you out to Boston. There's LeBron coming off a 42-point loss to the Pacers, taking on a familiar face in Kyrie Irving. To the fourth, under 5 to play, Boston up by 1. Irving pulls up on Kuzma, puts down the 3. Boston up by 4 now. So under a minute to play, Lakers down by 3. James driving on Irving nearly loses the ball, saves it to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who passes back to LeBron, hits the game-tying 3, so we're all tied at 124. Now under 20 to play, Boston down by 1. Irving hits the layup, takes back the lead for Boston. No time's out, 10 seconds to play. Marcus Morris locking up James full court, so Brandon Ingram tries to hit the layup, but he gets blocked by Al Horford. The deflection goes to Rajon Rondo, who hits the jumper at the buzzer for the win. Take a look at this again. He was getting mobbed by his teammates, rightfully so. Rondo with the buzzer beater, the first of his career. The hero. Celtics in a shock at the end. Lakers celebrating. Lakers go on to win 129-128.
Where does your mind go as you let that ball fly?
Just get it up. Get the arc up. Believe it or not, I always dream like this, you know what I mean? But I couldn't picture it being this sweet coming back on, 13 years in, where it all started. Team struggling right now, and I think it's definitely a confidence booster for us.
I think for Rondo, I think he couldn't even dream about that moment to be back here in the Garden and where he won a championship, where obviously, he has so many memories of being here. And for him to get his hands on the ball at that moment and be able to knock that down, it was a storybook ending.
That works for you. Before I get back to the phones at 888-SAY-ESPN, it's 888-729-3776. A couple of other things that I want to point to. Again, when I want to give props to Russell Westbrook. 8 straight games of a triple-double. I mean, that's just phenomenal, surpassing Michael Jordan. This guy is something special. Paul George, MVP caliber season. MVP caliber season. Paul George has been nothing short of sensational. It's undeniable. And right now, when you look at the way Paul George is playing, I don't think anybody can deny this reality. When you look at Paul George and the way that he has been performing, and you look at Russell Westbrook, and then you look at those young athletes that they have, I got to tell y'all something, man. Oklahoma City may be the biggest threat to the Golden State Warriors. I look at the powers that be in the East, Milwaukee, Boston, Toronto, Philadelphia. You know what impressed me? I thought Philadelphia had the best pre-deadline moves because they add Jimmy Butler and then they add Tobias Harris with Redick, with Simmons, with Joel Embiid. That's something special to behold. Their depth is still a question mark, but I got to give credit where credit is due. But then Milwaukee, who's got the best record in basketball at 40-13. Toronto's 40-16. When you look at Milwaukee, adding Mirotic, he can ball. He's a stretch 4. He can do some damage for you on the perimeter. And that's the one huge question mark that you had about the Milwaukee Bucks. So that also makes it very, very, very interesting. I just got to tell y'all that. And so I look at it from that perspective, and things are getting very interesting in the Eastern Conference. The Boston Celtics, let me tell you what I saw last night. I saw a team that had trouble getting out and defending the 3, but I also saw a team that's still exhausting themselves trying to fit in Gordon Hayward, not paying enough attention to how it's compromising the rest of their squad. I saw a Terry Rozier, who was balling last night, get relegated to the bench because it was time to bring Kyrie Irving back in. I say, why have Marcus Smart in there? Why not put Terry Rozier and Kyrie Irving in there at the same time? Why not do that? That seemed to be something that would have made the most sense to me. Brad Stevens is going to have to figure this out. I haven't given up on Boston coming out of the East, but Brad Stevens is going to have to figure this out. He really is. It's just something that's very, very important to do. And that's in the East. Out West, it's Golden State. It's Oklahoma City. It's Denver, who plays in Philly tonight. And I've been very impressed with what I've seen from them. Can't ignore them. But I'm still not ignoring the Lakers. As crazy as that sounds, y'all. As crazy as that sounds. Because they don't deserve it. The way they've been struggling without the services of LeBron for those 17 games. Losing by 40-42 the other night to Indiana. On the road in Indiana with a team without Victor Oladipo. By the way, two coaches of the year candidates. Easy. I don't even want to hear it. 2 guys are Mike Budenholzer and Nate McMillan in Milwaukee and Indiana, respectively. I don't even want to hear it. It's a 2-horse race for Coach of the Year honors. I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear another name. It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to hear it. It's about those 2. Let's pay attention to that. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Brady. You're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Brady.
Hey, Stephen A. I was wondering if LeBron joins a front office after he retires or becomes a personality or an actor. I mean, what do you think?
First of all, I don't think it's either. I think LeBron James would be an owner. LeBron James is worth close to $1 billion, sir. LeBron, why would LeBron need to work for somebody front office? Why would he need to be an actor? LeBron James is going to own studios and production companies. He already does. And LeBron James is going to try to own a team, and they'll probably facilitate letting it happen because he's great for the world of sports. So LeBron is going to be an owner. LeBron is not going to be working for somebody else. They're going to be working for him. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Who do you think he owns then? I mean,
I don't know. It depends. I don't know. So, for example, if I'd asked you years ago, who do you think Michael Jordan would be owning? Wouldn't you have said the Chicago Bulls? But Jerry Reinsdorf wasn't giving up ownership. Then he went to Washington with Abe Pollin, and that didn't pan out. And then the league took care of him by making sure to pair him with Bob Johnson, had a minority stake, ultimately brought out Bob Johnson for the majority stake, and now he's the majority owner of the Charlotte Hornets. So it's not about where you're going to own something, because I have no clue. But I believe that LeBron James will own an NBA team. That's what I believe will happen.
I completely agree, I guess.
All right. Thanks. Take care. Let's go to Gil. You're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Joe.
Talk to me. What's up, man?
What's going on? First of all, my name's Joe, man. Like your show. I got two questions, Joe.
All right.
Los Angeles Lakers, I believe they can make the playoffs.
They will.
Run, and make your free throws. Make those free throws. If you look at it, I don't have it like you guys, but if you look at it, there's a lot of free throws. A lot of free throws. Make those free throws, kid. Get them games. Win some, luckily. Win some on the blowout status. Make the playoffs, and let's get going.
The Lakers?
The Lakers.
So, in other words, make their free throws, and what will happen?
And then make their free throws, play some defense like they did last night against Boston. Run. They got a young team. Let them run.
Stop right there. Why don't you just say if they got a manicure and a pedicure, too? Do you want somebody to wipe somebody's behind for them, too? I mean, come on, man. You know how many things, you know how many ifs you threw out there? If they make their free throws, if they run, if they get back on defense. I mean, damn, why don't you just say if they play basketball? You can't give me five different categories because that applies to everybody. What if the Golden State Warriors decided not to make free throws, not to run back on defense, not to play together? You can't give 5 different categories as qualifications. You got to have something specific, man.
I got another question.
Hurry up.
Questions.
Go ahead.
Mr. Frank Robinson.
Yeah.
83 years old. I was at Memorial Stadium.
Yeah.
That's a good brother, man.
Yes, he was. He was always at the Lakers games.
30th Street.
Right.
Historian. A lot of African historian with him. He need to show more love to him.
Well, I will say this to you. You're absolutely right. He was a pioneer. You know, like I said this morning, 586 career home runs, 14-time All-Star. Was tough as nails, used to crowd the plate, daring somebody to throw inside on them, was feisty, a leader, a winner, I mean, an MVP in both American and National League with Cincinnati and Baltimore. And then not only that, the first black manager. And on the day that he walked to the plate, because he was a player manager in Cleveland, the day that he walked to the plate in 1975 against the New York Yankees, he smacked a home run. In his first appearance, his first game as a manager, as a player manager, he had a home run. When you think about pioneers, those who paved the way for others, it's something special to behold. He's from Oakland and played at a high school, and I won't say the name because I forgot how to pronounce it, so I got to make sure I have the correct pronunciation. He was teammates with Kurt Flood and Bill Russell, the father of free agency and the ultimate champion, 11 championships in 13 years. I mean, it's something special. I'll give you that. But I got to go right now, man. I appreciate the call. Ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't wait for this call. I was looking forward to this call. I would love to tell you, you understand that first of all, he's an actor extraordinaire, no doubt about it. He's been the star of General Hospital for the better part of 2 decades. But not only is he a friend, a phenomenal actor, a huge sports fan, he also happens to be my boss. I'm Brick, the surveillance expert for the mob and the mobster known as the one and only Sonny Corinthos of General Hospital, played by the fabulous actor himself, Maurice Bernard. What's going on, man? How are you, sir?
What's going on, my man?
Man, I'm so happy that you called in. First of all, I want to thank you for everything you've done for me. I don't think I'd remember a line if it wasn't for you. So I thank you so much for all the help that you've given me.
You know what, Stephen? I just want to tell everybody that I might have helped you a tiny bit, but you're a natural actor, and I really mean that.
I appreciate it. I know you've always told me that, but I've never believed it. But I'm going to take it. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to take it. Thank you very much. But I want to talk about you because it's not just about General Hospital. I want you to tell everybody about this new project that you've got coming up where you're John Gotti. Am I correct? Is that true?
What do you want from me? Yeah, I'm John Gotti. How you doing?
Talk to me about it.
It's coming out tomorrow night, 8 p.m., Lifetime. It's called the Victoria Gotti, my father's daughter, and I play John Gotti. Very difficult, very exhilarating. It was one of the biggest challenges I've had as an actor, I got to tell you, Steve.
Why is that?
Man, I wish I could get into it, but all I'll say is it was a monster. And but I overcame it and I got through it, and I think it made the performance better and made me better as an actor.
I ask you that question only from this perspective. Even though it's soaps, I mean, you being a mobster, it some people would say that should come very natural because you've been doing such a sensational job on General Hospital for all of these years. So transitioning from doing that to being the mobster that is John Gotti, how much of a stretch was it from doing soaps to doing something like this for Lifetime?
Well, I know people think Maurice is just doing another gangster, and it's not much of a stretch. But the difference is Sonny, the character I play on the soap, General Hospital.
Yes.
He operates in about a second, maybe third gear. Well, John Gotti, the way I played him, operated on like a fourth and fifth gear. Plus, I had to do the accent. Plus, I had 48 hours to do research, which is no time at all. So, and there's nothing on John Gotti. There's nothing on YouTube. There's only one thing that I kept using when he's in prison talking to Victoria and her son, and he's like, "I'm your granddad. You understand what I'm saying?" And it was just that I could use, but there's nothing else. So I just had to kind of just go and do, and that's what made it difficult.
So was there anyone close to John Gotti that you learned about John Gotti? Was there anybody that enlightened you and informed you, Victoria, anybody that just gave you all the material that you needed?
Yes, Victoria was a godsend. Because second day she was I was in her trailer and we were talking, and I said, "Give me anything. I just want to make him human." She said, "Play him like Michael Corleone in The Godfather and not like Tony Soprano." And I said, "Okay, I can do that." So I had to find. And as I was speaking to her, it came to me when I was sitting there listening to her. I saw why her father loved her so much through just her words, man, and how she saw him and things. So I had to connect to something from John Gotti, and what I connected with was the love for his family, the loyalty he had. He was a man of the people, and he had a certain intensity that I think I was born with.
We're talking to the one and only Maurice Bernard. He is known as Sonny Corinthos, star of General Hospital. And how many years now have you been at General Hospital, sir?
25, man.
25 years you've been at General Hospital. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me. I have a fabulous time working with you all the time and talking about this stuff. But I want to know, because being around you, watching you teach, watching you, rehearse scenes and everything, because, I always come upstairs and I watch you work before I do what I do. You know how I got to learn from something because I don't know. But I often wonder how you don't seem tired. You don't seem disinterested. You seem just as enthused as ever. If people were watching you for the first time, they damn near think you just started doing it, for crying out loud, with how excited you appear to be about everything you do. Talk about that for a second. You've been doing this for 25 years. You don't seem to have any fatigue whatsoever. What's that about?
Well, I mean, it depends what day you catch me on. But, when I work with you, you're going to see the enthusiasm because I love that you're good. And remember that last scene we did, and I said, "Ooh,
yeah,
no, you nailed that one." And just the way you did it, and it was a pretty couple-page scene, and the way you did it, that gets me passionate.
Because I often wonder, you just look at actors and actresses and what have you, and sometimes you get the impression that, they're going through the motions, they have the skill, they do what they do, but ultimately it can be a bit monotonous at times, whether you're rehearsing scenes or having to do a scene over, whatever the case may be. That's not the case with you. And I look at General Hospital, and I look at Sonny Corinthos. It's at a point right now, and I love everybody that's there. Everybody there is absolutely phenomenal and fantastic to me, and I'm so grateful for it. But there is no General Hospital without Sonny Corinthos. Have you accepted that reality? Do you ever look at it that way? Or is it one of those situations where you never take that for granted?
Yeah, I don't take that for granted. I maybe in the past I would, my ego would say that all the time. But now, the truth of the matter is, if an actor leaves a show, it may hurt a bit, but the show will go on. That's the way. That's that line, right? The show must go on.
Right.
So, I, as far as when I go in there every day and do what I do, I just always striving to be good. I don't want to fail. I never want to fail. So,
as an actor, when you look at some of these storylines that you get associated with, I've seen you one time. You shot your son one time. Another time, somebody shot you. Another time, just recently, your dad. Your dad was struggling with an illness. I don't know whether it's dementia or Alzheimer's, whatever the case may be. All of these different things that go on. Is there a role that you played, the actor, that the name Sonny Corinthos? Is there a role that he played that you loved above all else?
Well, I think now we're talking about the Alzheimer's story.
Yes.
I've had some scenes on air. I think maybe a week ago with Laura Wright and Max Gale. They were both so real, so honest, and that storyline hits me because my dad lives with me now, and he's at that age, and it's amazing. Max Gale's so great, and they dress him like my dad. They have a hat like my dad, and every time, sometimes I touch his shoulder, and I'm like, it's my father, and it doesn't feel like acting. It's living it, and I get choked up. Jeez, yeah. I get choked up even discussing it. Okay.
I got you. I got you. I'm here with you, my man. I'm here with you, and I totally get where you're coming from. Believe me, I do.
I know you do, brother.
I want to read something, and I don't mind repeating this, and I'm sure you wouldn't mind because you posted it on social media. So it's certainly not something that's private. You wanted people to know.
Yes.
And you were talking about your struggles, your personal struggles with mental illness. Allow me to read this, if you don't mind, to my listeners out there. This is what you wrote just the other day. You said, quote, "I've been struggling with mental illness for over 30 years, and I understand how difficult and unbearable this illness can be. Fortunately, I've always been one to seek help, stay on medication, and I've always had a family who truly loves me and supported me no matter what. I've seen way too much heartache in the last 30 years. We have to understand this is not just the, oh, he's just going through something, or, oh, he's just a little crazy right now illness. This is the, oh, he or she is not with us anymore disease. I don't know the fix it or how to fix it. I wish I did. All I know is we all have to keep our eyes, ears, and our hearts open to the signs." This was in the aftermath of Christophe St. John for Young and the Restless, leaving us far too early at the age of 52 the other day. And obviously there's professional athletes like Kevin Love and DeMar DeRozan and others who have acknowledged their battles with mental illness, emotional things like that. Talk about that for a second and why you was provoked to send that out and what this matter means to you.
Well, the reason it hit me, of course, Christophe was a little bit of the reason, and the other reason was what I had read on NAMI put out something that 43 million people suffer from mental illness. And, of course, anybody who knows me, I've been a spokesperson for the last maybe 25 years. And what gets me about this is it almost seems like it's getting worse. And I don't understand how that can be with there's so much help and there's so much, awareness, but more people are killing themselves. And or want to kill themselves.
Correct.
And it's really, really, I just don't understand. I don't know I don't get it. And it's just very important to me as somebody who has suffered for 30 years. And I know the struggle because I know the reason that people can't take it anymore is because the pain, Stephen A., is unbearable. And a lot of times you think, if this is the way it's going to be every day of my life, I don't want to be here anymore. Right. That's it, because that pain is that unbearable. So, and if you don't have the support system, then you're just like, it's too difficult.
And that's what my next question was going to go. For those who are not struggling with it, what can folks do to help those who are, in your estimation?
It's a hard question, because you can't help someone who doesn't want to help himself. And that's a true fact. But what you can do is be patient, love them, and there's not much else and try to get them help, because without help, it's not going to get fixed.
We're talking to the one and only Maurice Bernard. He plays the character Sonny Corinthos on General Hospital. He's also my boss. Sonny is Brick's boss on General Hospital as well. I appreciate you so much, man. I wanted to thank you. Before I let you get on out of here, I want to make sure to remind our audience, you got to, what's the title of the show? Is it Gotti on Lifetime?
It's Victoria Gotti, my father's daughter. And I'm doing something on my Instagram Live at Maurice Bernard with Victoria Gotti tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern. So everybody check that out. And I put something out on my Instagram that's behind the scenes of the movie. And check it out, man.
I will. Absolutely. I appreciate you so much. By the way, before I let you go, a different subject, a lighter subject. I saw Keith Thurman fight the other day. I know how much you love your boxing. I saw him fight the other day. He won a decision, but I still don't look at him thinking he can beat a Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Maurice Bernard, I don't feel that way.
Okay,
where are you at?
Listen, Stephen A.
Okay.
You have to understand something. He was 2 years, away from the game. And yes, he looked like he was getting knocked out, but you got to give him some credit for heart. I don't think I've ever seen Keith Thurman on the canvas.
Well,
I don't think he's been on the canvas.
No, he hasn't been on the canvas, but I'm just saying he didn't look that sharp. And I think if he went in with one of those boys, sometimes the layoff and what you lose during the layoff, you never get back.
That I do agree with. But I will say this.
Okay.
Terrence Spence.
Crawford and Errol Spence, yes.
Okay. I think Spence, it's a tough one. Yes. That guy's a beast.
Yes, he is.
Crawford, we'll see.
Okay. All right. My man, I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon, boss.
I'll see you soon. You do, brother.
Thanks a lot, my man. I appreciate you. Love you, man. Thank you so much.
Love you too, man.
All right. The one and only Maurice Bernard, a.k.a. Sonny Corinthos, General Hospital, right here with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Yes, he's my boss. He's my boss. I do what he says. When it comes to the soaps, when it comes to acting, I do what he says. Us lesbians have to stick together. What can I say? I'm only playing, y'all. I am no actor. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Back to your phone calls and more in a minute with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. By the way, when you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes, do you? You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes, set up screening questions based on your job requirements, then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed. Back to your calls in a minute with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN.